Did you know that over 700,000 people left the UK last year? That's the highest number in over a decade, and yet thousands of people are still thinking about moving in. Sounds strange, right? We get sold this idea of the UK being a land of opportunities, free healthcare, world-class education, and endless charm from old castles and British accents. But let me ask you something. What if the reality on the ground is very different from the story you're being told? In this video, I'm not just going to list the usual, it's rainy and expensive complaints. Nah, we're going deeper. I'm going to share 5 unexpected reasons, based on real stories, expert research, and hard facts. Why moving to the UK in 2025 might actually be a massive mistake. We'll talk about the crushing middle-class squeeze, the real state of the NHS, and even how the constant grey skies could mess with your brain. And trust me, reason number 4 is something no relocation guide will ever tell you. So if you're even thinking about packing your bags for the UK, stick around. What you learn in the next few minutes could save you years of regret. Number 1. The vanishing middle-class lifestyle. Let's be real, the idea of living a comfortable middle-class life in the UK used to feel pretty achievable. You get a decent job, rent a nice flat, maybe buy a house down the line, go on holidays, and enjoy a little security. But here's the truth in 2025. That dream is fading, fast. According to recent data from the UK's Office for National Statistics, wages have barely budged when adjusted for inflation. Meanwhile, the cost of essentials like food, rent, and energy have skyrocketed. A family of 4 in a middle-class income bracket is now spending over 60% of their earnings just on living basics. That's before they even think about saving, entertainment, or holidays. Groceries that once cost £40 a week now total closer to £70. Energy bills have doubled in many areas. Council tax increases are draining more from already stretched paychecks. Even everyday things like public transport or childcare can feel like luxury expenses. And let's talk housing. The UK is in the middle of a housing crisis. In many cities, renting a modest 1-bedroom flat can eat up more than half of your monthly income. Buying a home? Forget it unless you've got serious savings or help from family. House prices in London and the South East have gone completely out of reach for most first-time buyers. Even with a good job, you're often just treading water. Here's the kicker. People working full-time, even in skilled jobs, are still struggling to keep up. Teachers, nurses, engineers, people who are supposed to be the backbone of society, are being priced out of their own cities. Side hustles aren't optional anymore. They're survival tools. Some professionals are even turning to gig work or weekend shifts just to stay afloat. This isn't just a money problem, it's a quality of life issue. Constantly worrying about bills, cutting back on simple joys, feeling like you're stuck in a grind with no upward mobility, it wears people down. The mental load of living in survival mode every month is exhausting. It's not just a paycheck issue, it's a peace of mind issue. And if you're coming in from a country where the cost of living is lower, this lifestyle shift can be shocking. You might find yourself living in smaller spaces, working more hours, and spending way more for way less. That can be a tough adjustment, and not one that's easy to see from the outside. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to build a good life in the UK, plenty of people do, but if you're dreaming of comfort, savings, and financial breathing room, you need to know that the UK's middle-class life isn't what it used to be. It's a constant hustle, and for many the reward just doesn't match the effort. Number 2. The healthcare reality check. When people think of the UK, one of the first things that comes to mind is the free healthcare system, the National Health Service, or NHS. It's often portrayed as this gold standard of civilized society, efficient, accessible, and equitable. But if you're thinking of moving to the UK in 2025, based on that alone, you might be in for a surprise. Let's break it down. Yes, the NHS is technically free at the point of use, but free doesn't always mean available or reliable. In 2024, average wait times for non-urgent procedures reached record highs. People are waiting months, sometimes over a year, for treatments like physiotherapy, mental health support, or even surgeries. Imagine injuring your knee, needing surgery, and being told your wait time is 14 months. That's not just inconvenient, it's life-altering. Emergency departments are stretched so thin that patients often wait 12 hours or more just to be seen. There are real stories of people lying on hospital floors because there weren't enough beds. The system is under immense pressure, and while the staff are doing their absolute best, there simply aren't enough of them. Burnout rates among nurses and doctors are higher than ever, leading to dangerous understaffing. And here's something most newcomers don't realize. You'll still pay. If you're a visa holder, you're required to pay the immigration health surcharge up front, often hundreds or even thousands of pounds, depending on the length of your stay. That's before you even walk into a clinic. Many expats end up turning to private healthcare just to get timely treatment. But private care isn't cheap, and often it's only an option in larger cities. If you're living in a rural area or smaller town, the NHS is usually your only choice, and wait times can be even worse. And what about mental health? While awareness has grown, services haven't kept pace. Getting consistent therapy through the NHS is like winning the lottery. Most people either wait months or give up and pay out of pocket. Again, not an option for everyone. Now, does this mean the NHS is worthless? Absolutely not. In emergencies, it's still a safety net. And for chronic conditions, it can offer good support, eventually. But if you're coming in expecting fast, efficient care across the board, you're likely to be disappointed. This isn't fear-mongering. It's just the other side of the coin that rarely gets shown in Instagram relocation posts. The UK's healthcare system is facing serious structural challenges, and if you're moving for a better life, this is a reality you'll want to consider carefully. Have you or someone you know experienced the UK healthcare system? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear what it was really like. And if you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss insights like this. Number 3. The weather isn't just bad, it's energy draining. It starts slowly. You wake up one day and realize you haven't seen the sun in over a week. The sky isn't stormy or dramatic, just a dull, endless grey, like someone put a filter over the world and forgot to turn the colour back on. Welcome to a British winter, or spring, or honestly, any season. People often joke about the UK weather being miserable, but what they don't tell you is that this low-level greyness isn't just annoying, it's draining. It creeps into your mood, your energy, even your motivation. And if you're moving from a place with real sunshine and blue skies, the shift can hit harder than you'd expect. Studies have shown a strong link between limited sunlight exposure and seasonal affective disorder, SAD, a form of depression that's directly triggered by lack of light. In the UK, SAD isn't just a winter phenomenon. In some regions, overcast skies can stretch from October to April, and daylight disappears before 4 p.m. in the coldest months. It's not just bad weather, it's an environmental factor that literally changes your brain chemistry. Now imagine trying to build a new life in that kind of atmosphere, settling into a new job, making friends, adjusting to a new culture, and doing it all while feeling like someone dimmed the lights in your mind. It's a layer of emotional weight that many expats never anticipate until it's too late. And then there's the rain. It's not dramatic thunderstorm rain either. It's this weird drizzle that seems to hover in the air, just enough to keep you damp and uncomfortable, but not enough to justify an umbrella. Your clothes are never fully dry, your shoes stay muddy, and plans often get delayed or cancelled because everything is just soggy. The thing is, locals are used to it. They've adapted. But if you're not, it can mess with your rhythm in a way that's hard to explain. Your sleep suffers, your workouts stop. Even grocery shopping feels like a chore when the streets are wind-whipped and wet. Over time, you start to plan less, do less, and stay indoors more. It's a subtle shrinking of your world. And with fewer outdoor social options, the isolation can build. That's something few guidebooks ever mention. That the weather here doesn't just change your plans, it changes you. So yes, the UK has its charms, but the weather, it's not just a running joke. For many, it's the slowest moving culture shock of all, the kind you don't see coming until you're right in the middle of it, wondering why everything suddenly feels so heavy. Number 4. The unspoken culture shock. At first glance, the UK doesn't seem that different. The language is familiar, the brands are recognizable, and the culture feels close enough. especially if you're coming from the US, Canada, or Australia. But here's the twist: the UK can feel familiarly foreign. Everything looks similar until it doesn't. And that's where the unspoken culture shock hits hardest. Unlike moving to a country where differences are obvious, the UK surprises you in small, quiet ways. You're expecting warm hellos and casual chats like back home. Instead, you get the infamous British politeness, indirect, restrained, and often deeply misunderstood. People aren't rude, but they can be incredibly hard to read. A "that's interesting" might mean fascination, or complete disinterest. You won't know. And while British humour is legendary, it's also dry, ironic, and self-deprecating to the point of invisibility. If you're not tuned in, it might feel like everyone's making subtle digs, or that you're missing the joke entirely. That social disorientation can wear you down over time. Let's talk about friendship. Making friends in the UK is a slow burn. Brits often build social circles in childhood, school, or university, and they tend to stick. Jumping into those tight-knit circles as a newcomer isn't easy. You might go weeks without being invited out. People may smile, chat at work, even offer help. But real connection, that can take months, sometimes years. Then there's the pub culture. It sounds inviting, right? But many expats say it's surprisingly exclusionary. Groups head to the pub after work, and unless you're directly invited, you're not automatically included. And even when you are, conversations often revolve around shared history, inside jokes, and references you don't understand. It can feel like being at a party where everyone's speaking your language, but you're still left out. Even the communication style takes getting used to. Brits often avoid confrontation at all costs. Feedback is veiled in politeness, which can be confusing. A "maybe later" can actually mean never. A "not bad" might be high praise or sarcasm, and saying "I'm fine" might hide 100 feelings. This cultural subtlety isn't a flaw, it's just deeply embedded. But for newcomers expecting openness, warmth, or clear social cues, the contrast can be jarring. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're overthinking or missing something essential. And none of this is in the brochures. No relocation guide warns you that you might feel like an outsider not because of how you look or speak, but because of the invisible walls of social code you didn't know existed. So while the UK can be a wonderful place to live, this unspoken culture shock is very real. And unless you're mentally prepared to decode the quiet rules, it can leave you feeling isolated in the middle of a crowd. Number 5. The hidden cost of free things. One of the most appealing things about moving to the UK is the promise of free stuff. Free healthcare, free public education, affordable public transport. It sounds like a dream, especially if you're used to sky-high costs elsewhere. But here's the truth. Free often comes with a hidden price tag. And the cost isn't always in pounds. Sometimes it's in time, quality, or plain old frustration. Take the public transportation system. On paper, it's cheap and accessible. In reality, trains get delayed so often that there are entire social media pages dedicated to mocking them. If you're trying to commute to work, that affordable ride might come with a side of missed meetings and daily stress. And if you live outside a major city, expect reduced schedules, crowded buses, and last-minute cancellations. Not exactly what the tourist brochures promised. Then there's the education system. Yes, public schools are free, but that doesn't mean they're all equal. The quality of education varies wildly depending on your postcode, a reality that pushes many families into bidding wars for homes near good schools. Ironically, trying to access free education can drive up your housing costs dramatically. And if you're an international student, you'll pay hefty tuition fees and still face the same overloaded lecturers and underfunded programs. Let's circle back to the NHS. While we've already covered the delays and overload, there's another layer: the cost of going private when the free system fails you. It's not uncommon for people to shell out hundreds, sometimes thousands, for dental work, mental health care, or diagnostic tests just to avoid months-long wait times. And you'll pay out of pocket, even while contributing to the system through taxes or visa surcharges. Even little conveniences carry hidden costs. Want to open a bank account? Prepare for piles of paperwork and slow processing. Need to renew a driving license or register for anything official? Get ready to spend hours navigating outdated websites and standing in queues. Efficiency isn't always part of the package. And what about energy? While technically deregulated, energy costs in the UK have surged. So yes, your water and basic utilities might be affordable at first glance. But surprise seasonal price hikes and provider failures can turn your budgeting upside down. So while it's true that the UK offers many government-supported services, the experience isn't always what it seems. The support exists, but the real cost is often time, patience, and settling for good enough. No, this isn't to say the system is broken. It's just a reminder that free isn't the same as frictionless. And for anyone moving in with high expectations and a tight budget, those hidden costs can add up fast, not just financially, but mentally too. What do you think? Is the UK still worth the move in 2025, or are the red flags too real to ignore? Drop your take in the comments. Even one sentence helps us build this global conversation. If you found this eye-opening, check out our last video. It dives even deeper into the realities of moving abroad. And hey, we pour a lot into making these videos for you, so if you want to support us, just hit subscribe. It's one click, but it means the world to us.